We are going to have a great live today. I am so excited to be hanging out with you for the next hour and just talking about a subject that is really very near and dear to my heart because it's a subject about, we're going to be talking about dealing with loss of your loved ones. Yes. And I know that I seem really chipper about talking about kind of a real heavy subject, but I want to approach today's live. Hello, Valerie. I want to approach today's live in a kind of like positive, healing kind of manner. And I want to tell you straight off right now, and I will remind you one more time before we really get into the subject, because I want everybody to kind of have a moment to get logged on. But I'm going to be sharing with you my personal experience, how I have dealt with loss, how I cope with having people who I have loved and lost no longer be with me. I am not a professional. I am not a therapist. I am not a doctor. I am nothing like that. I am just me, a 58-year-old woman who has unfortunately lost I've lost a lot of people I love. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be dealing with that. We're going to be talking about my adventures. I went thrifting yesterday and I went to the Free People store yesterday. So we're going to be talking about that. And if time is on our side, we're going to get to some comments. But again, I'm going to reiterate my statement. This is going to be a positive post. And I want to, out of memory, out of honoring my mom, my sister, my dad, I'm going to do this in a really positive way. So first, before we dive into that, because again, like I said, I want to give people time to get logged on, but we're going to talk about my adventures yesterday, because on yesterday's live stream, I talked about Free People and about how much I love the brand and about how you can find it in more affordable ways. And so I went to the Free People store, and one of the things that I bought was this cute little top, because I get comments all the time about this little top, about this green one. So I got it in black and I really like it. And if you will notice, I have it with a little bit of like contrasting patterns. So I have little flowers in my top and then I have on my striped overalls. So I'm being all sorts of, fashion forward today. That's what I'm trying to say. So I got this cute little top. Then I did the video a little bit different than I usually do. And what I did yesterday is I actually tried things on in the store. Believe it or not, I never try anything on. And I actually went into the dressing room and I tried things on. Not only did I try things on, but I actually recorded myself. Okay, that sounds a little weird. I didn't like record myself trying things on, but once I had them on, I discussed them in the dressing room. So it wasn't a weird video like that. But I did get, look at this top I got. I am absolutely in love with this cute little denim top. It has the little rivets. I got it in a size extra small. It fits absolutely perfect. Oh my gosh. I am so in love with this top. And I know that it's silly. You're like, it's just a top, Lonni. Well, no, it's not just a top. It's the perfect top. And yeah, I cannot wait. I'll wear this on Monday because we're having a heat wave coming. So I will wear this on Monday. It was a little bit over my budget, but I took all sorts of stuff back. So I justified it to myself. And it's my Mother's Day present. And this little top cost me $98, but it is awesome. Valerie, oh my God, I saw that online and thought you would love it. I absolutely did. I was looking through everything at Free People and it was like stuck in between some Hello, Linda. Happy Mother's Day. And it was stuck between in a rack, and they had two. They had the extra small and the small. So I grabbed both of them. I tried them on. The small was absolutely too big. The extra small fit perfect. So I was super excited about this. Now, I do have a video coming out of me shopping in the Free People store. I tried to do it a little bit different and a little bit more I can't think of the word. Cinematography. Yeah. I tried to make it more like a little movie. So I'm super excited to be working on that one over the weekend. And then I will get that one posted. Oh, those rivets are perfect. That top, like I said, it definitely falls in the category of like the perfect top for me. Then I also told you yesterday I was going to go thrifting, because one of the places I told you that you could find Free People art styles and Free People things at a really affordable price is thrifting. So after I was done with the Free People store, which, by the way, let me tell you right now, the last two Free People stores I went to the one in Carlsbad yesterday, and then I went to the one in UTC a couple of months ago. But that's like little sub stores at the mall at not Fashion Valley. I cannot for the life of me think of the mall that I'm thinking of in San Diego. Courtney, you might know which mall I'm thinking about. It's right off of the 8. And that one has the super size Free People store. So you better believe I am going to be heading down there sometime. And I'm going to save up my money, and I'm going to head over there, and we're going to go to the big store. So anyway, not UTC. It's the one down by where the old Charger Stadium used to be. And gosh, I'll have to think of it. I have my iPad. If I can't think of it, it's not Fashion. Oh, it's Fashion Valley. That's what I'm thinking. It's Fashion Valley. That's where it's at. I was thinking Fashion Island, but that's in Newport Beach, but Fashion Valley is in San Diego. So anywho, these overalls are from Dickies. They actually sent me these overalls. Yeah, Fashion Valley, absolutely. So Dickies sent me these overalls a couple of years ago, and I absolutely love them. So after I was done with Free People, I headed over to a thrift store. It was the CRC in Encinitas, and they had all sorts of Free People things. I mean, they had some really good things. Unfortunately, they were in larger sizes than what I could wear. But again, I have a video, and that's going to be coming out, and it was super fun. But let me show you what I got. Because you know me, I didn't walk out of there with nothing. So I have been all about short overalls, overall shorts. And when I was at Free People, I tried on the Ziggy pair, and my body was just not prepared for that. It did not fit me well. So when I was thrifting, I found this cute little non-brand pair. Look how cute these are. Hold on, let me stand up. Look how cute these are. So they have like the little distressing. And then what I really liked about them is the simple fact that they don't have like, they're not fitted in the waist. Because the ones that I bought at H&M like were real fitted here. And then since I am short-waisted, I had too much up here. So these are not fitted in the waist. They have cute little distressing, and they're a size medium. And again, my Dickies that I'm wearing, or the overalls I'm wearing are from Dickies. So I got these for $10. And I figure, you know what? Regardless if they really are perfect or not, I'm going to wear these for $10. So I got these just in time for our heat wave that's coming. Then I was looking around, and I love jackets. My jacket obsession is a real thing. And this is what I found. I found this for $15. Yes, $15. This is a little jacket from Cabby. And I absolutely love the color. I mean, the color is what sold me. It is a medium, and I wouldn't say that it's oversized, but I really like the fact that I can wear, I could wear a sweater probably over the top, or I could just wear it on its own. But look at this. Oh, my Lanta. I absolutely love the detail. It fits perfect. In fact, let me try it on for you. And I know the color was just amazing. And I really, you know what, truthfully, I really do like the Cabby brand. I am not a fan of everything that they sell, but I definitely love their jackets. Some of the stuff I think is really super expensive, and I don't know why. But if I can find Cabby, like a Cabby jacket at the thrift store, I'm all about it. So it has shoulder pads. So let me fix my shoulder pads. Okay. And there you go. See? Isn't that cute? Look at the little button details for $15. Oh my gosh. And it's that Ponte knit, so it's super stretchy. So, okay, before I came on live, I was actually singing Macho Man from the Village People. So I was like, hey, hey, hey. And look, you can move all around in the jacket. Look. So I'm going to get this dry cleaned, and then the next time I go to San Francisco, this is what I'm wearing. So it was a fun afternoon, and it was just kind of like after I finished my live, I talked a little bit more, and then I just decided to put that mindset of, you know what, I have an hour drive. I'm just going to kind of reset my emotional clock and start talking about the subject that we're talking about today. Because I knew I wanted to talk about how I personally deal with the loss of loved ones. And it's again, you know what, again, I'm not a professional, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm just a person who has experienced loss. And I really wanted to address this subject in a way that I could share my story with you in a positive way. And truthfully, every time I talk about, you know, the people I love and lost, I won't say it takes a toll on me, but I have to visit some sadness. I mean, losing people you love is sad. So I took that time. I listened to my Village People soundtrack on Pandora, and I just sang. I car karaoke'd. Anytime I was in traffic, I was like doing my little hand movements. People probably thought I was insane all around them, but I did not care. So let's get into it, and let's talk about losing people you love and how I personally deal with it. Hello, Robert. Robert's on TikTok. All right. So I want to just start off by letting you know that anytime that you have a loss, anytime that you lose somebody you love, that it's your own personal journey, all right? Because a lot of times when you talk to people who have experienced grief, they try to tell you how you should process and deal with your own grief. And I'm going to tell you right now, it helps to hear other people's stories, just like you're hearing mine right now. But your journey is going to be your journey. You're going to have to find what works for you. You're going to have to basically find your own path on how you are going to deal with this emotional loss in your life. Because I always like to say that no two losses are the same, because you know what, truthfully, pain is pain. I don't care in what form or fashion you have it. I am a firm believer that my pain and my grief is no more or no less than your pain or your grief, all right? I cannot stand it when people are like, if people ask you questions and you give them an answer and you're like, oh, well, you know what, blah, 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 I lost this or that. And they're like, well, I did this and I did that. And it's almost like they're trying to one-up you in the pain area. And I'm like, no, honey, I appreciate and I understand your loss, but that does not diminish mine. So just know that whatever feelings you're feeling, whatever, you know, emotion you are feeling, you have absolutely 100% every right to own that. And that is, again, your journey. And then, you know, I I just, I really want you to know that when you are experiencing this, that you have to give yourself time in order to figure out who the new version of you. And what I mean by that is, let me explain on that one a little bit more. Because the way I looked at it is, each and every time that I lost a loved one, it changed who I was as a person. All right. Good, bad, or indifferent, there was a new version of Lonni that came out of this grief. So, for example, like when my sister passed away, in a million years, I never thought that my sister was going to pass away at the age of 47. And never in a million years did I think that I was going to have to start to figure out how to live my life without the one person that was always in my life, that always had my back. I mean, I literally felt like part of me got ripped out of my soul. So I'm sitting there and I felt like a little newborn chicken. I felt like I kind of just like pecked my way out of the egg. And I'm like, what do I do now? And so I had to figure out a new version of me. You know, when my dad passed away, I had my mom I had to take care of, because my mom didn't do well, especially after my dad passed away. So there was a new version of me. You know what? There was a new version of me that could no longer go and ask my dad for advice. There was the new version of me that now had to be there for my mom. And so I was just like, wow, all right, there's a new version of Lonni. And then when my mom passed away, there was a completely new version of me. I mean, that is why I'm saying, each time you lose somebody who's a part of your inner circle, who is a part of your life, once you have that part gone, there's a new version of you. It doesn't mean it's a bad version. It doesn't mean it's a better version. It's just a new version, because you have to learn how to transverse through life without that person. And two things that just absolutely drive me crazy is when people say, well, you're going to get over it, or you're going to heal from it, or you're going to get past that. And I understand the concept of having loss and then moving forward from it. But you never, I mean, to me, it's like you never ever stop missing that person. So how are you going to get over it? And that's why in my own personal journey, I have learned to do things that I basically incorporate, and I keep my family members with me on a daily basis. I mean, there's not a day that does not go by that I don't think of my mom, or I don't think of my dad, or I don't think of my sister, because I purposely do things that keep their thoughts and their memories alive in me. All right? It helps me. It helps me not have that physical presence of them by having the emotional memory of them imprinted on me on a daily basis. Ritualness says, and yes, I have lost a lot of family members over the last few years, uncle, mom, grandma, and then another uncle. Yeah, and you know what? And each time, the entire family dynamic again changes when you have those losses. So a couple of things that I do. I do a lot, because like I said, there's never a day that goes by that I don't absolutely embrace my family that I've lost. So a couple of things that I do. So like I said, specifically, we're talking about my mom, my dad, and my sister. So for my mom, I really have her presence with me when I'm shopping, because that was the thing that we always did. We'd get up on a Saturday morning, clean the house, and go shopping, have lunch. On the weekends, that's what we did. We talked about clothes. And so I always feel the closest to my mom when I'm shopping. Now, mind you, and I could cry, and I'm not going to, because this is a happy post. Whenever I'm shopping and I see somebody across the way shopping with their little white-haired mom, I'm like, oh, I miss my mom. And so I find myself stalking them. They'll be first they'll be in the clothes, and I'll be like, and then they'll be in housewares, and I'll be like, And I like to see people out and shopping with their mom because it reminds me so much of the adventures that I had with my mom. Linda says, I believe you don't ever get over losses, you get through them. Yes. And like I said, and you come out the other side a new person, a different person. So I have a tendency to stalk other people when they're out shopping with their mom. Just like yesterday, I had to return some stuff to Zara. So I was at the mall in Carlsbad, and I swear I don't know why, but it seems like everybody had their little white-haired mom out and about, and they were all at the mall. And so I was going down the escalator, and I saw these people like taking their mom into a restaurant, and I'm like, oh. And then I'm leaving, and then there's like a little granddaughter was walking in with her grandma, and I'm like, oh. I don't know. Yesterday was just kind of like one of those days where it's like I just saw them everywhere. So I feel like when I shop, I kind of shop for me and my mom. A lot of times when I'm shopping and I look around, I'll be like, oh, wow, she would have really liked that. Or she would have not liked this. Or she would have said this. Or she would have said that. And even though she's physically not there, she is still emotionally there shopping with me. Now, at the end of the Free People video I do bring that up. And one of the things, and the reason I bring it up is because one of the things that I have enjoyed the most on my social media platform here lately is my shopping videos, because I get to shop and I get to show you what I have, and I get to like show you my little flair of fashion. And it reminds me a lot of when I used to do that with my mom. So when I do go shopping, and I say that you are my shopping buddy, you are basically coming with me, and I get to associate that with my mom. So that's one of the things that I do to keep my mom near to my heart. And every time I go out, oh Dee, I'm sorry about the loss of your aunt. Rachel, I know I'm probably saying this wrong, and I do apologize, but it's Rochelleness. So how do you deal with Mother's Day? I know your mom. I know you're a mom and you still celebrate. By the way, happy Mother's Day. Thank you very much. Sorry, autocorrect and typing too fast. Not a problem. I know what you're saying. So Mother's Day. The way I go into Mother's Day is this way. I go into Mother's Day like any other day. I do not miss my mom any more or any less on that particular day. I cherish and I remember her, and I love her. And I love her daily. So just because it's a national, or just because it's a holiday and you're supposed to buy cards and flowers and make that one day a special day for your mom, I do that every single day. So that's how I do that. Okay, I told myself I wasn't going to cry. I promised myself I was not going to tear up. But that's what I do, and that's the way I look at it. And so to me, every day is Mother's Day. Every day is the day that you need to celebrate your mom. All right, so now let's talk about my dad. How do I deal with my dad and the loss of my dad? In the same way, but doing something different. Now, I've told you before, my dad was a farmer, and he grew carnations down in Encinitas. And so, thank you, Valerie. I promised myself I wasn't going to do that. And then, just so you all know, when I tell you I speak from my heart, I really do. So, no, you didn't. You know what? It was a beautiful question. And it was something that I was going to bring up anyway. So I really appreciate that. And you know what? I love the questions, and ask me more, because not only does it help me by sharing my story with you, but it helps, it helps you. So ask away. And if I end up tearing up, then you know what? It's just part of life, and there's nothing wrong with that. So my dad was a farmer, and I absolutely connect the most with my dad. Like, let's just say I'm missing my dad, and I'm like, gosh, you know what? I really want to have that connection. I really want to get that closeness to him. I'll go out and start working on my yard. And whenever I'm out in the backyard and I'm working on landscaping, or I'm just trimming up bushes or something like that, I absolutely 100% I feel like that connection with my dad. So just like I go shopping and I think of my mom and I have that close spot with her, I think of my dad when I'm out doing yard work. And especially on Sundays. On Sunday mornings were the time that my dad and I always took time to talk to each other, whether it was about the weather or sports or what kind of yard work I was going to do, what he had in mind or whatever he was going to do. Sunday mornings were my dad and my conversation time. So on those particular times that I'm like, hey, you know what? I want to talk to my dad. I go out in the yard. Now, the back story is that I actually live in my parents' old house. So all the things that are in the backyard that I'm trimming up or taking care of, my dad planted. So it really makes it really cool. Now, my dad was a smoker. He smoked unfiltered Camel cigarettes his entire life. Do not smoke. It is not good. It is not okay. But it is really weird because I never smell like that kind of like smell that I used to smell when my dad was alive until I'm working in the backyard and then I come into the house. And each and every time I tell you, I can smell my dad. And it is something where I just say out loud, I'm like, hey, Dad, I missed you. Or, hey, Dad, thanks for hanging out with me. But it's really weird. And that's a story for another live stream, just how close we are to those people we lost. We just can't see them. But that's, again, another live stream. So for my dad, I work in the yard. Now, for my sister, anytime that I want to be, okay, Ann says, working on cutting out the cigarettes, but I can't help but enjoy them. I smoked for a very long time. I was the daughter of a smoker and a daughter of a drinker, and I did both. I quit smoking when I quit drinking. I could not do one without the other. And truthfully, besides getting rid of the alcohol, I feel 100 times better not smoking anymore. So anyway, so for my sister's special thing is music and garage sales. Oh my gosh, we loved both. There's certain songs, Bob Seger, Simon and Garfunkel, just Supertramp. And just these kind of songs, whenever I hear them, it's like my sister is sitting right next to me. And I'm just like, yes. And then garage sales, that was our thing. We would get up super early in the morning. We would go get donuts, feed our kids donuts, and then we would go garage selling. And it was such a time that we had so much fun together. Now, after my sister passed away, I don't garage sell. I cannot do it. I cannot bring myself to do it, but I have fond memories of doing it. The music I can do, but like I said earlier, my sister's passing took a lot out of me. It took a lot out of me because we had always planned, our future plans were that we were going to grow old together. We were going to get an RV. We were going to travel around the United States in this RV packed full of chihuahuas and pit bulls. And we were going to have a flamingo and an umbrella. And wherever we parked to camp, we were going to put out our lawn chairs, our umbrella, and our flamingo with our chihuahuas and pit bulls. Yes, we had that adamantly planned. And it's something that life just didn't allow that to happen. So it's hard for me to go I don't want to garage sell without her. It's just what I don't want to do. It's my right and I'm not going to do it. I find my closeness with her through music and through my spicy attitude because my sister, because I have a fast wit. I have a good comeback. I was raised that you don't back away from a fight, all right? If somebody comes at you, you defend yourself. That was the firm rule in our house. So it's always very difficult for me to not clap back sometimes at trolls or, negative comments I get. So when I do, on those few occasions, on those few occasions that I actually will respond, I'm like, okay, come on, Vicky. That my sister's name was Vicky, by the way. I'm like, come on, Vicky, what are we gonna say? And instantly she's like, blah, 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 because she made me look like a Girl Scout. I thought I was a bad mama jamma. I was nothing compared to my sister. My sister was my bodyguard. So whenever I do respond, I'm just like, okay, Vicky, this is your time to shine. And she shines every time. So that's how I keep her alive in me, is through my spicy attitude. Yes, when I hear a song I know my mom loved, I say, rest in peace, Mom, this one's for you. Absolutely. And yeah, it's so weird how music can just bring you back to that memory. And so, but let me finish talking about Vicky's spicy attitude. So I, a lot of times, like trying new things or starting a new platform or, being on social media. Because when you're on social media, you are basically like, hey, world, here I am. I am exposing myself to the masses, and it can be scary and it can be intimidating. And whenever I start to feel that kind of feelings, instantly, Simon and Garfunkel, I'll talk to my sister. It brings me back to the memory of my sister. And I'd be like, what would she do? And she would be like, no, girl, you cannot quit. You need to try harder. You need to do this. Do not be afraid. And so I still today, even though my sister had died, she passed away in 2006, I still get core motivation and strength from her, even though she's physically not here. So it just really amazing. For me, I like to look at the people I have lost as they're still here. It's just that they're not physically still here. I still get strength and power and comfort from my loved ones, even though they're not physically here, because I keep their memory so alive and so fresh in my psyche that I feel like I can talk to them anytime. I just can't pick up the phone and talk to them. I just talk to them through here and my heart. And it helps me in my journey dealing with their physical absence. I mean, it's just what it is. Linda says, I admire your willpower to quit smoking and drinking. Oh, and Linda, I quit gambling at the same time because I was addicted to all three. Let's see, when my sister passed away first, and when she passed away, my drinking addiction just like latched on. So I was drinking more. I was smoking more. After my dad passed away, because he passed away after my sister, I started gambling. Because you know what? Smoking and drinking and that kind of self-harm wasn't enough. So my mom and I would go to the casino every single weekend, and I would get drunk, smoke 3 packs of cigarettes, and gamble all my money away. So, that was a negative way of dealing with loss. And I woke up one morning and my children hated me, and I just didn't want to live that way anymore. So I got rid of all of them at once. So that's a story for another episode also. So music to me is super powerful. Out of all of the 3 things that I just told you away, I think that music is probably the strongest one. I mean, I can remember listening to the Chuck Wagon Gang, which is if you don't know what the Chuck Wagon Gang is, it's an old group that sang church songs. I can think of my grandma. And then for my mom, it's like George Jones, and she just absolutely loved music like that. For my dad is Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. That is, I think of my dad every single time. And for my sister, it's Bob Seger. And so if I want to think about them, if I want them in my mind, absolutely. Now, I was listening to music before I started this live stream, and I'm all about my disco music right now, and an ABBA song came on. And there's a particular ABBA song, and for the life of me, I can't think of which one now, but I hear it. I think it's Chiquita. Chiquita. Okay, you have to look this song up. And it takes me right back to a night. It was like a Friday night. We were in a restaurant in Encinitas. I was having dinner with my mom and dad, and I went to the Del Mar Fair afterwards. And anytime, anytime that song comes on, it's almost like I time travel back in time, and I'm sitting at that dinner table with my parents, and I can tell you exactly what table we were at. The restaurant's not even there anymore, but what table we were at, where my mom was sitting, and what I was looking at out the window when this particular song came on. So again, I know that that sounds kind of like, like really like, oh, listen to her, but it keeps my memory of them alive, and that is again how I deal with their physical losses, by keeping them so close and so active and so alive in my daily mental thinking. I forget I'm supposed to miss them. I forget I'm supposed to miss them because I'm not missing them because they're still here. Does that make any sense at all? I mean, again, I'm sharing my story because I want you to help you in anything that you're struggling with, that you might need help with, because it's something that gets me through my daily life. Now, the elephant in the room, as far as another way that I deal with loss, is through tattoos. Yes, I mean, my entire arm is for my family. I have my sister who passed away in 2006. I have my dad. And right here, this entire arm is what's on his gravestone, in where my mom, my dad, and my sister are all together. My mom passed away. This is all of her. So whenever I am in a situation that is super stressful, or I need instant comforting of my family, this is me. And if you ever see me doing this, and it's something I just do, I rub my arm. I've been in situations where I'm just like, oh, this is super stressful. I don't know what I want to do. I do this. And I did not realize I was doing it until I realized I was doing it. But it is something that helps me almost have that comfort level. So I'll just be like, yep, there they are. So I was thinking about it. And if you don't want to get a full sleeve, if you don't want to be like, oh my gosh, I need a massive arm sleeve, what I would suggest is figuring out something that always reminds you of them. Something small, like a book, a flower, if you went to coffee with them, just something small, something about this big, a little tattoo about that big. And what I would do is I would put it somewhere on your arm, because you want to have easy access to it. All right. So let's just say, for example, something about that size. So then when you find yourself in those situations where you're like, man, I wish so-and-so was here right at this moment so I could ask them a question, or I would just love to know what they would have to say. Just sit there and, push that tattoo. Just touch that tattoo, because I will guarantee you're going to know exactly how they would respond. You know what? If they're that close to you, you already know what they would say. They're just not physically there to say it. So if you have something like that, I think it's a really cool little memorial. It helps a lot with the passing, and it's just something that you can just, like I said, you can just be like, yeah, I got it. I feel it. Yep. Nope. I hear what you have to say. So that is, that's something that I would highly suggest. And then again, like I said in the beginning, your journey of figuring out how you are going to maneuver life without your loved ones, everybody's journey is different. Please do not feel like you're doing it wrong. Trust me, I've had people be like, no, you probably shouldn't do that. You should do this. And I'm like, who are you to tell me how I'm going to get over my pain? So if you have people in your lives that are like, yeah, you're kind of doing that wrong, you should do it this way. You need to find you need to find new friends or new acquaintances, because you never want anybody telling you that your feelings or your emotions are wrong, because again, 100% they're your feelings and they're your emotions. Linda says, when my mom passed away unexpectedly, I got for one more day tattooed on my arm because I would give anything for one more day. Yes. And you know what? And that's just the thing, Linda. It's like, I think we would all give anything for one more day. And in our culture, I know a lot of times people are, yeah, death is just a part of life. As hard as it is, it's just something we don't get away from. And I absolutely 100% agree with you. Just one more day. See, because now I didn't go into this a whole lot, but a little backstory is that my sister did have she passed away from a malignant tumor attached to her heart. So she didn't feel, one of 11 people, really super rare form of cancer, but she didn't feel well at the beginning of September and she passed away at the beginning of November. So she only had like 2 months and she was gone. But during those 2 months, I was there for her all the time. And you know what? We spent time together and I had time to almost, send, I wouldn't even say send her off because that's a silly statement, but I had time with her. And then when my mom passed away, she wasn't well, but then she really declined and she passed away again very quickly, kind of like my sister, but I got to spend time with her. My father, unfortunately, had a massive heart attack and he was gone. I mean, they brought him physically back, but he had so much brain damage, he couldn't be brought back. So I never got a chance to really to say my piece with my dad. And so I find myself talking to him a lot because I want him just to be okay. And, and the thing is that my dad never saw me sober. My sister never saw me sober. My mom did. And a lot of times I'm always like, wow, you know what? This is really cool because I still feel like they know I'm okay. They just didn't physically get to see that I was okay. So I think a lot of the reasons why I keep them so fresh and in my mind is because I want them to know I'm okay. And I've had some really strong and really weird dreams where I've actually conversed with them, like we're having a conversation, which I've heard is really strange. So that's just the way that I personally deal with my loss of the ones I love. Now, another couple of little things you can do is I'm seeing behind me see that little plant right there? I have a lot of plants. I have a lot of house plants that I actually have in honor of my mom and my dad and my sister. I have an African violet for my mom and my dad. I have an African violet put together for me and my sister. And every Sunday when I water them and I do my little trimmings, it gives me the opportunity to just keep their memories, keep their spirit alive. So you can do things like that. My dad lived in his garage. If he wasn't in the backyard, he was in his garage. And if I really want to have a deep conversation with my dad and it's raining outside, I'll go stand in the garage because that's where I used to talk to my dad. I mean, that's where we had our conversations. So doing things like that. Yesterday, when I went shopping down in Encinitas, I grew up in Encinitas. My mom grew up in Encinitas. My dad grew up in Encinitas. So we have a real strong family. We lived there for a very long time. I mean, granted, it's completely changed. And my parents, we don't longer live there. But I could still drive down a street and remember them. I'll still drive by my childhood house and be like, I remember this. Go by the elementary school that me and my mom went to. And so yesterday when I was in Encinitas, I drove by things that I was like, yeah, you know what? My mom and I went there all the time. I drove by the restaurant that used to be a Bob's Big Boy. I drove by the restaurant that used to be the Paddock. That's no longer the Paddock, but we would go in there and have dinner, and we would walk through the bar, and I would say hello to my uncle because that's the only time I ever saw my uncle, and it was just cool stuff like that. And so I would recommend that if you don't live near your childhood, where you grew up, and you want to go back and you want to go down memory lane, try Google Maps. I mean, you can Google Map places that you have fond memories of, and then that way you can kind of, just be like, yeah, I remember this. It was really cool. It's like, and like I said, I grew up down there. So I sometimes I go by the chicken house, and that's in Carlsbad, and it's like an old hotel that they turned into a restaurant, and there's a big chicken out front, so we called it the chicken house, just little things like that. And then also too, my mom loved overalls, and that's one of the reasons why I wear overalls so much. And there's just little things like that I tell you, a lot of who I am today is because of those people that were in my life that I have loved and lost. And I deal with them. I deal with their loss by keeping their memory alive. I am a firm 100% believer, again, that just because they're physically not here doesn't mean that they're not emotionally and mentally and energy wise not here. I absolutely 100% believe that, and that's how I deal with my loss. Just one shopping adventure at a time, just one song at a time, and just one conversation standing in the garage by myself at a time. But hey, you know what? It's the way I deal with it, and that's all I got to say about that. All right, everyone. We're not done yet, but I'm going to switch conversations a little bit. Because, okay, the Queer Eye, the new season is out today, and I am going to binge watch that over the weekend. Absolutely love that show. That show started this. That show gave me the motivation, the idea, and the drive to start spreading a little bit of kindness. Because back in July of 2019, I had a minor surgery. I had a little lump taken out that was perfectly fine. And I was off of work, and I never really binged watched many shows. And so, but I couldn't go to work. And so I'm like, what am I going to watch? And I'm like, oh, what's this Queer Eye thing? And I like, oh my God, this is the most amazing show. These amazing people are trying to make other people feel good about their differences. They're trying to spread some positivity they're trying to spread some positivity. They're trying to make people love themselves for whoever they are. And I'm like, oh, what a cool concept. So then when I started my platform, I'm like, you know what? I want to spread a little positivity like that. I want to be like, if I can make one person stop and be like, you know what? I'm different, but I'm okay, then it's a good day for me. And so I'm super excited about that because like I said, I'll binge watch that over one weekend. I mean, Brandon's going to Arizona, so my RuPaul Drag Race buddy is gone. So instead of watching RuPaul, I'll be watching The Queer Eye, and I'm super excited. And you have to watch it. So I'm going to be doing that. Let's see here. Oh, on Monday. Okay, I'm not going to talk too much about this because I want to save it for Monday. But on Monday, we are going to be discussing my marriage. Ugh. I'm sorry. I went from being super positive and this is great, this is how you do it, to even thinking about talking about my marriage gives me the willies. And what has brought this up is, I don't know if you've seen the TikToks or the Reels or if you read the news, but there's this whole thing going around about Ben and J-Lo. and about how he got filmed like slamming the car door. And then on the red carpet, there was like that where they looked like they were arguing, but they were like, no, no, no. They were just talking about her outfit. And no, no, no. He was just shutting the door. Well, I'm going to tell you, I am not an expert and I'm not going to dissect their relationship because it's not my relationship. And they're two adults. And if they choose to be together, then that is perfectly fine for them. But what I'm going to talk about is the simple fact that when I saw those videos, I instantly triggered. I mean, I triggered so hard back to when I was married and how I was treated. And that is exactly how I was treated. You know what? I was treated with that anger. And I'm going to tell you right now, Mr. Affleck, Ben, you can say whatever you want, but your body language says a whole lot. So again, I'm not going to dissect their relationship because it is their relationship, but I'm going to talk about being in a relationship that is not, it's not all fun and games. So again, it's a subject that is near and dear to me. I'm not a marriage therapist. I'm not this, I'm not that. I'm just a 58-year-old woman who shares her experiences to try to help others. So if you, I don't know, like I said, I'm just going to talk, I'm going to talk more about like how I found the strength to leave instead of like all the horrible things that happened. Because to me, it's the past. The past is the past. And you know what, whatever it is, and that's all I can do. So there you go. That's what we're talking about on Monday. Now, I got some new stuff for my eyebrows, and I'm thinking that my eyebrows are too dark, to just totally change the subject. But I have been trying to like look at my eyebrows, and I'm like, are those too dark? And even before I came on live, I'm like, because I do that. And I'm just like, I don't know. And then I started thinking, I'm like, well, if I have to ask, chances are they're too dark. I'm already looking forward to Monday. Thank you, Linda. So I am, like I said, I am that person who's like, in fact, I don't know if you're going to do this. All right, I'm going to have like a real moment that some people might think is kind of gross, but it's something I do. But have you ever been driving around and you can't remember if you put deodorant on? So you're all like, and you smell and you see if you have deodorant on. I mean, am I the only one that does that? And please tell me that I am not the only one that does that, because I'm going to be really embarrassed if I am, but I know I cannot be. So somebody has to bail me out here. I'm waiting. Has anybody ever done that besides me? Girl, I have pulled over and bought entire kits for the car. I don't know. Please, YouTube, am I the only one? You don't leave your girl hanging here. But I don't think. Jackalope says, thank you so much for this. I've been missing my mom so much. You are very welcome. You are extremely welcome. You're not. Okay. Thank you, Valerie. Okay. So now, all right, now that I know that I'm not the only one, I'm going to give you a little warning on this. All right. So we all know we do this. You're driving around. No, you're not the only one. Good, Erica. All right. So you're driving. Did I put deodorant on today? Yes, I did. All right. So true story. I used to work for a company called The Grapeline, and The Grapeline is a wine tasting tour out here in Temecula. And I did this because I needed the money. I was a single mom and I worked the weekends. So I actually worked 7 days a week for a very long time. Good, Linda. I'm glad I'm not the only one. So I've worked 7 days a week for I can't remember not working 7 days a week. So I'm in the car, and they would always give me like a sheet of the names of the people that were going to be on my bus. So I'm sitting there in my car in the parking lot of the Pachanga Hotel looking at the list. And I'm all like, list. And there was like always like 4 or 5 pieces of paper. So I'm like, oh my gosh, did I put on deodorant today? So I did my test. Yes, I did. Then I'm like, oh, okay, good. I'm wearing deodorant. And I looked down and I wanted to turn the page. And with my little deodorant fingers, I'm like, to turn the page. And instantly I'm like, ah, so gross. And I'm like, Lonni, what are you doing? You might as well have just licked your own armpits. This is so disgusting. And then I'm like, ah, and then I'm putting more deodorant on my tongue, and I'm like, ah. So that is the kind of misadventures I get myself into on a daily basis. Tina says, hi, Lonni, finally made it live. I think I missed some of it. I'll watch the whole video later. Awesome, Tina, please do. I hope you do get a chance to doing it. And yeah, so word of warning, if you are the deodorant tester like I am, make sure you don't lick your finger to turn the page. Maggie, this is the eyebrow from Gen C, Gensee, and I will put that in my shop, my look. So yeah, word of warning, don't do that. It is not a pleasant experience at all. Nothing is more, well, I won't say more disgusting than that, because trust me, I'm sure that there are. All right, so let's get to a couple of comments before we call it a day. All right, Carolyn6689 says, hi, Lonni, nice to see another shopping video from you. I used to shop at Gap many years ago, but over the years, their prices, their prices are getting so high, I stopped shopping there. Old Navy to me seems like a cheaper alternative to Gap, but still they can be pricey too. Did I read this one? I don't know. No, I didn't. I read something similar to like this, because I'm just like, this seems really familiar. But it says, seems pricey too. I don't know. The fashions aren't really my taste anyways. And you know what? And truthfully, I agree. They're not really my taste in fashion. I did like their athletic wear. So if they do go on sale, I probably will go grab like a pair of shorts or something like that. All right. Let's see here. Oh my gosh. You know why? I did read that, because this did not update to my new notes. Oh no. Okay. So let's see if I could, because darn it, I put on some new notes this morning and it's not updating. So anyway, there you go. And what else was I going to talk about? Oh, somebody called me nasty. That's it. Somebody said I was nasty, and not in a good way either. Kind of like you're too old to be cool kind of nasty. So I had to respond to that one. So I got all spicy and I responded back to that one. Gosh darn it. I don't know why my iPad won't update. I had some good comments. So yeah. So I told, like I said, I had to respond to that one. Again, the Sanoderm short is going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And again, whether or not you want to call me names or if you want to give me your opinion, perfectly fine with me, because every time that you leave a comment, I get a comment, whether good, bad, or indifferent, is still a comment, and I will take all those comments, and you will just help me push my way right up through the algorithm, and I'm okay with that. All right, so Gap and the Old Navy are the same company. Yeah, no, they're like different divisions, and also too, Banana Republic, which I did not realize Banana Republic was a part of that also. So super excited about that. Oh, so in a completely like transparent thing, yesterday when I was trying tops on, I found some really cute like cute tops, and I'm all like, yeah, these are really cute. And then I turned around, I'm like, why do I have a muffin top underneath my arm? And I'm like, no. So today at the gym, I told Robert I need to start working out more because I lift weights. I want to get rid of like this like little muffin top part right there. And I don't care if I'm 58, 48, 68, 88. I don't care how old I am. I am going to continue to work out. That's just it. I'll be there. You call it chicken cutlets. I looked. Okay, I'm thinking if I get much more worse, I'm going to look like a flying squirrel. I'm just going to be like, psh, and then I'm going to be able to fly all around. But I share these things with you because I want you to know that I don't think that age has anything to do with how we look at our bodies or how we take care of our bodies. And just because I'm 58, almost 59 years old, does not mean that I'm going to just, throw in the flag. That's not going to happen. That's not in my DNA. So yes, I will change my workouts according to my physical capability, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to keep on doing what I'm doing. Darn tootin' right. All right, now when is your birthday? Maggie, my birthday is August 5th. I'm going to be 59 years old. And sometimes, if not every day, I forget how old I am. Because you know what? Even though I say it a lot, I don't really care and I don't really base my life on how old I am. It's just something I choose not to do. So one last thing before I say goodbye, I do want to show you this. This is that Maybelline Magic Eraser, but it's in the pink, which I really like. And I put it all underneath my eyes and I give myself like a little brightening. But what I did today is I put on my lipstick and it was kind of a matte. And I took my clean finger, one that wasn't underneath my arm, and I put just a little bit on my finger. I love that sound. I put a little bit under my on my finger. I gave myself a little highlight on my lip. And I thought that was the coolest hack. I was so proud of myself. And then I'm like, yeah, you know what? They probably been doing that for a while. And I'm like, no, this is really cool. I invented this, which I don't think I invented it, but I thought it was really cool. So if you put on some lipstick and you have that solid color and it's a matte color and you want to give it a little highlight, but you don't want to keep adding more lipstick, try getting your little concealer and just be like, bloop, 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 bloop. And I thought it was pretty cool. All right. So that, don't go anywhere. That is my live for today. I do take off Saturday and Sunday, so I will be back on Monday. And again, Monday we are talking about getting out of a relationship that is not the best relationship. So we're going to be talking about that. So until Monday, remember, look for a video. I'm putting my Zara haul out today. But until Monday, remember, be bright, be bold, be brave. Remember, I love you, and I will see you.